Welcome to the Doctor Who recap. This video series will attempt to recap every single episode of Doctor Who from the classic era, including lost episodes, to the modern era. An Unearthly Child was the first televised Doctor Who serial and the beginning of the Doctor Who franchise in general. On a foggy London night in 1963, a policeman makes his rounds, passing Foreman's junkyard at 76 Totnes Lane. In the junkyard stands an incongruous-looking police box emitting an eerie hum. Another day of classes ends at the Coal Hill School. History teacher Barbara Wright and science teacher Ian Chesterton compare notes on an enigmatic student, Susan Foreman. Her knowledge of history and science surpasses the rest of the class and possibly the teachers. However, she has very curious gaps about present-day culture. For example, she forgets that the UK has yet to adopt a decimal currency. Barbara has encouraged her to specialise in history, but Susan is resistant to her suggestion about in-home tutoring, saying her grandfather, with whom she lives, doesn't like strangers. Barbara tells Ian she got Susan's address, 76 Totnes Lane, from the school secretary. She went there and found, not a house, but a junkyard. They find Susan so Barbara can lend her a book on the French Revolution. Ian offers Susan a ride, but she declines. Ian and Barbara resolve to follow her home. After they leave the room, Susan reads the history book and remarks, "That's not right." Arriving by car at 76 Totnes Lane, Ian and Barbara see Susan enter the junkyard alone. Following from a distance, they search the junkyard for her in vain. Ian is transfixed by a police box there which hums. Touching it, he exclaims that it's alive. They hear someone coming and hide. An old man approaches the police box and unlocks it. The teachers seem to hear Susan's voice from inside, greeting him. They confront the old man, who brusquely shuts the door and refuses to acknowledge that anyone is inside the box. When they threaten to go to the police, the old man calmly dismisses their claims. The door opens from the inside. Hearing Susan's voice again, the teachers push past the man. They are astounded to find themselves in a much larger space, with futuristic electronic panels and a central hexagonal control console. Susan is shocked to find her teachers there. The old man, her grandfather, is furious at their untimely intrusion. Susan and her grandfather, who calls himself simply the Doctor, say the police box is actually a disguise for their space-time ship, the TARDIS. They are alien refugees from another planet and time. Despite Susan's protests, the Doctor prepares the TARDIS for takeoff, saying he must kidnap Ian and Barbara to protect Susan and himself. The sudden takeoff renders the two school teachers unconscious. The TARDIS arrives on a Paleolithic landscape, over which falls the shadow of a man. The shadow is of a man dressed in animal skins. He watches the TARDIS ominously. In a cave near the TARDIS, a tribe of cavemen is gathered around one of their members, Za. Za is the son of the tribe's previous leader, who never taught his son the secret of making fire. As Za futilely tries to make fire, a female tribe elder throws scorn on Za's abilities and states that Cal, a stranger from another tribe, would be a far better leader. This frustrates Za. Ha, a young cavewoman, tries to pacify him, but also warns him that if he loses his position as the leader of the tribe he will lose her. Her father is intent on her bearing children for the leader. Back at the TARDIS, Ian and Barbara regain consciousness to find the Doctor, and Susan puzzled over readings displayed on the TARDIS main console. The Doctor tells them they have gone back in time. This annoys Ian, who demands concrete proof. The Doctor opens the door, revealing the barren desert, and all four go outside. The Doctor professes confusion as to why the TARDIS has retained the shape of a police box. Ian apologizes to Susan and Barbara for stubbornly disbelieving the Doctor's story. Susan is also surprised that the TARDIS is still in the shape of a police box. The Doctor is elsewhere, looking for samples of rocks and plants to estimate the current date, when the caveman, who was watching the TARDIS, sneaks up on him and attacks him. His three companions hear him shout and run to his rescue. When they get there, all they find is the Doctor's bag, hat, and Geiger counter smashed. Susan hysterically runs off to look for him. Ian and Barbara soon follow, but not before Ian finds the sand is freezing cold. Hogg, Hu's father, tells Zia that Cal claims he knew how to make fire in his old tribe. Zia angrily responds that Cal's tribe all died out. Cal would have died too if this tribe had not saved him. Hu again warns him, Cal is bringing in meat and winning favor amongst the tribe. Zia says if he has to kill a few people to exert his authority, he will. At this point, Cal, who attacked the Doctor, comes in with the old man's unconscious body. Cal tells the tribe that he saw the Doctor make fire, and he should be the leader of the tribe now, that the Doctor had immense strength and fighting prowess. Zia scorns and mocks Cal, but Hawk states that Cal is doing far more for the tribe than Zia, and if his captive can create fire, Cal should be made the leader. Zia says the Doctor should be taken to the Cave of Skulls and sacrificed so Orb will return. At this point, the Doctor wakes up. He says he can create fire for the whole tribe without any need for killing, but he soon realizes he has lost his matches. When he tells the tribe he will need to go back to the TARDIS before they get fire, Zia mocks Cal, saying his promise of an old man who can make fire was lies. The tribe turns against Cal. In his frustration, he pulls his knife on the Doctor. Cal is on the verge of killing him when Susan, Barbara, and Ian attack the tribe, knocking Cal off the Doctor. The companions are soon overpowered. Cal approaches Barbara. Before he can kill her, Zia gets in the way and says the four must be taken to the Cave of Skulls and sacrificed as a gift to Orb. The Doctor and his companions are led away. Hawk tries to take Hu from Zia, but Zia insists that with the Doctor's sacrifice, Orb will return and fire will return also. The tribe will retain Zia as the leader. Hawk seems to accept this. The four travelers are sealed in the tribe's Cave of Skulls with the bones of many prisoners, where Ian notices that the skulls have all been split open. Still in the Cave of Skulls, Ian, Barbara, and Susan try to escape. However, the Doctor seems disconsolate and unhelpful. Ian reprimands him, prompting the Doctor to suggest that they use the bones of the dead to cut the ropes that bind their hands and legs. The group begins to unify. Back at the main cave, the tribe is asleep. The female elder wakes up. She steals Zia's knife and heads towards the Cave of Skulls. Unbeknownst to the old woman, Hu has seen her. When she arrives at the Cave of Skulls, she is met by a large stone that blocks the door. However, she seems to know an alternate route. Inside the Cave of Skulls, the Doctor and the others are trying to free Ian so he can defend them if needed. Susan screams as the elder bursts through a gap in the undergrowth that blocks the cave. Hu wakes Zia and calls him out of the cave to inform him that the elder took his knife and headed out of the cave. They decide she went to the Cave of Skulls. Hu believes the elder is afraid of fire, so she will kill the four to prevent the tribe from learning the secret. However, the elder is using the knife to free the four, whilst outside Zia and Hu try to move the stone. Just as the stone budges, the four escape out the back of the cave. Zia, frustrated, throws the elder to the floor. Hu convinces Zia that the only way he will retain the tribe's leadership is by capturing the Doctor and harnessing the fire. Zia and Hu plunge into the forest in pursuit of the Doctor. The four are lost in the forest, trying to find their way back to the TARDIS. Yet again, Ian and the Doctor fall out as Ian takes the lead. Whilst they argue, Barbara trips and falls. She lands on a dead boar and screams, which alerts Zia and Hu. The movement of the undergrowth impels the Doctor and his companions to hide. While Zia and Hu catch up with them, Zia is attacked by a wild beast and is injured badly. Against the Doctor's wishes, Barbara and Ian try to help Zia. The Doctor tries to stop Susan from going, insinuating that he would leave Ian and Barbara behind. Ian and Barbara help ZA, much to Hu's bemusement. She does not understand the idea of friendship, and is openly hostile to Susan, thinking she is trying to steal ZA from her. The doctor picks up a stone and makes for ZA, but Ian stops him. The doctor claims that he was going to get ZA to draw a map with the stone showing the way to the TARDIS. The doctor reminds his companions that the tribe elder is still with the cavemen. He worries she may wake them and set off in pursuit of the travelers. Ian builds a makeshift stretcher to carry ZA back to the TARDIS to heal him there. Back at the settlement, Cal has returned to the cave to find it empty. He questions the prostrate elder, who says she set the doctor and his companions free. Cal kills her. He returns to the tribe to inform them that it was ZA who let the doctor free so he could keep fire to himself. The tribe are skeptical, and Cal says the elder will back him up. When Cal returns to the cave to discover the dead elder, he says it must have been ZA who killed her. Cal declares himself leader and takes his new tribe off to find ZA. The doctor and his companions happily find the TARDIS. However, their escape attempt is foiled when they see the tribesmen appear. They turn to flee, but they find the way blocked by Cal and the other tribesmen. The four travelers are returned to the encampment. At first, the tribe is hostile to ZA and his friends, especially when they accuse him of killing the tribal elder, but the doctor convinces the tribe that Cal killed Old Mother by tricking Cal into showing the tribe his bloody knife. The doctor and Ian lead the tribe in an attack which drives Cal into the forest. The recovered ZA is again declared leader, but instead of expressing his gratitude by freeing the travelers, as the doctor expected, he orders them return to the Cave of Skulls, where he will either learn the secret of fire from them or sacrifice them to Orb. In the Cave of Skulls, Ian makes fire for ZA, using friction for a spark, hoping this gift will convince the tribe to set them free. ZA comes to speak with them, and is entranced by the fire. Ian says that in his tribe all members know how to make fire. ZA asks Ian if he is the leader of his tribe. He responds, with a nod to Susan, that the doctor is the leader. Meanwhile, Cal sneaks back into the camp. He kills the guard outside the cave and attacks ZA. Cal sees the fire and immediately slashes at ZA with his axe. ZA grabs a thick branch to defend himself and breaks Cal's axe with it. Finally, ZA gains the upper hand, chokes Cal in a headlock, and knocks him to the cave floor. ZA picks up a big stone, while Barbara turns her head away, knowing what ZA intends to do will be too gruesome to watch. As Cal's neck is being strained, Susan looks away in horror. ZA smashes the stone on Cal's head with a skull-crushing blow, killing Cal and confirming his leadership. The doctor is visibly disturbed by this barbaric action. With fire at his disposal, ZA is now undisputed. However, he still leaves the doctor and his companions to languish in the cave. After going out hunting, ZA decrees that the travelers will merge with his tribe rather than leave and orders them confined to the cave indefinitely. Meanwhile, the four try to think of a means of escape. Absent-mindedly, Susan places a skull in a flame. This leads Ian to devise a plan to scare and distract the tribe enough to let them flee. 4 skulls are placed on top of burning torches. This ghoulish vision distracts the cave dwellers, allowing the travelers to escape into the forest. This time, the 4 travelers manage to make it back inside the TARDIS. The doctor just about enters before the tribesmen catch up with them. The TARDIS dematerializes as the tribesmen throw spears at the craft, leaving them staring in amazement. ZA, however, looks on in defeat. The doctor explains that he has no idea where or when they will end up next because the TARDIS is not displaying any data to help him direct the ship. In time, the scanner shows their new destination, a mysterious jungle with strange-looking trees. Before they go out to explore the planet, the doctor asks Susan to check the radiation levels. They are at the normal level. As the 4 leave the console room to clean themselves up, the radiation detector's needle passes into the danger zone and a warning light starts flashing.